So we'll move on to, now we haven't, Peter's not able to be here, so have we got, oh, we've got someone from the Beckenham Neighbourhood Association. Sorry, I haven't got your name, apologise.
Hello, my name is Richie Wilson.
Hi, welcome.
Peter apologises for not being here. His wife is seriously and unexpectedly ill and is in hospital. So.
Oh, well, look, do pass on our regards. We all know Peter very, very well, so it would be great if you could pass on our personal respects and wish her well.
Oh, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Peter was going to make an individual contribution after this, so that won't be happening. Right. And I understand I'm on the program to make a contribution too, so that won't be happening. So I'm afraid your timetable has been destroyed.
Okay. No, that's fine.
From the submissions that I've been hearing when I've been sitting here, it seems like our proposals would destroy everything that's gone before, because the common thread of the submissions that Peter, I and the BNA were going to make was that the number of councillors should be increased, and increased preferably to the old number of 24. And the reason for this is that a larger number of councillors have a better oversight over the staff of the City Council, and so better decision making would hopefully occur. The sort of thing that's concerned the BNA is the perceived underinsurance of city assets before the earthquake. I'm not sure if that's actually true. Would people agree that the City Council's assets were underinsured and that the insurance payouts have been inadequate to rebuild the facilities?
Some were underinsured. We haven't settled our insurance yet.
Well, if that's the sort of issue that we would be concerned that more councillors would have greater oversight over the staff and better decisions were made.
I don't think that the council had any oversight of the decision to change the insurer or the amount of insurance that was taken out. So, but you know, I mean, that's
well, I'm not aware of that. So this is the reasoning behind us wanting a larger number of councillors. It's interesting to see that the central government increased the number of representatives because they felt that a smaller parliament could be captured by a really small number of people, and policies which weren't generally supported could be pushed through in the face of numerical opposition by a small group. And so a large number of councillors, I think, is a good idea. If we compared the number of councillors in Christchurch, which is a population of 356,000, I suppose you heard these arguments rehearsed before, where we currently have 13 councillors, to other cities in New Zealand, which have much smaller population bases, but a similar number of councillors, like Invercargill, which is a seventh the size of Christchurch, has 12 councillors, and Nelson is an eighth the size of Christchurch, has 12 councillors. Wellington, half the size of Christchurch, has 14 councillors. If you combine Wellington and Lower Hutt together, which has a population still smaller than Christchurch, they would have a total of 26 councillors. So I feel that you could argue that the number of councillors at present is woefully inadequate, and even at 16 is pretty inadequate. So I would urge you to rethink the whole numerical basis of the representatives in Christchurch and have more than 16 councillors. In my submission, I suggested that 18 councillors and 9 community boards would be a symmetrical arrangement, and that's the sort of thing that I would hope to see. Now, I realise that it would mean rejigging the whole process, but I feel that this is something that could be worthwhile. I also said in my submission that the people in Beckenham would be happy to be in a ward called Cashmere, even if it does contain people from Wilston, but we would be happy to be in Cashmere. The Beckenham Neighbourhood Association's area is not entirely within the Cashmere ward. Tennyson Street is not the boundary of the Beckenham Neighbourhood Association, and so I could suggest that if you were making small changes, that the boundary of Cashmere could be pushed slightly north of Tennyson Street.
What is the boundary of your residence association?
Well, that's an excellent question. It's a series of streets, a block or so north of Tennyson Street.
Yeah.
It's not a straight line as Tennyson Street is.
Right. So we've done it again. We've taken the straight line approach rather than the natural community of interest boundary.
Well, I'm not sure that it is a community of interest, but it's the historical boundary of the Beckenham Neighbourhood Association. It's also far from obvious, the lines. I suspect that when it was drawn, there must have been a Sydenham Residents Association, and it was done as a compromise between that and Beckenham.
Right, so that you've had two residents association combined.
I believe in the past there was. No, not combined, but I don't believe there is a Sydenham Residents.
They were separate residents associations.
Right.
Sydenham and Beckenham.
So there was a bit of a debate about who
Not really,
but you know the lines really well.
they work very well.
So have we got the lines right, do you think, in here, or do we want staff to do a bit of more work on the boundary?
I mean, I've been brought up here all my life. I mean, basically, if the Residents Association feel that the line is, and there are those that want to be part of it, that's a separate issue in the sense that, historically, the Sydenham has always been on the Sydenham side of Tennyson Street, and the Beckenham has always been on the Beckenham side. That historically is what it is. But, you know, I mean, let's face it, you know, is it South Fendleton or is it North Cashmere? I mean, depending if you're selling clients. But the fact of the matter is, if people want to be part of the Beckenham's Residents Association in that area, then that's fine. I mean, and you've got a defined area, then that's absolutely fine. But historically, Tennyson Street was the break between Sydenham and Beckenham.
So, just
For me, it's...
Thanks. Which I'll be interested if you agree, but it just seems to me that overall, the old Sydenham, if you like, would be the area now which is demarcated as Woolston. Roughly?
I don't know.
You're not sure?
No.
Well, that's my take on it when I look at the street, that's all. So while this discussion about where Woolston should fit, it clearly isn't part of the Cashmere.
Right.
Okay. Are there any questions that people have? Yanni?
Yeah, thank you for your submission. It is an interesting observation, and you raised the question of us around the insurance. The interesting thing from my point of view was when the council reduced from 24 to 12, it also got away from its committees, so it had no finance committee, and you could argue that lack of governance oversight. So I was interested in the idea that, you know, we should try and get more representation given the New Zealand context, where we do seem to be underrepresented. So in your view, your personal view is 18 and the community boards being 9. I was just trying to understand whether that included the peninsula or whether that the peninsula should be treated kind of separate.
Yes. It's a pity Peter isn't here because his views on the peninsula are very clear, and that is that the incorporation of the peninsula in Christchurch City was a mistake. He told me that he regards it as being a mistake that can't be rectified, but a mistake nevertheless. So I did see the people from Akaroa complaining that one councillor for the whole of their area wasn't sufficient, but I don't know what the alternative would be. I've also said that I thought Littleton and Sumner were a good fit together. I have a bit to do with those areas, and they seem to me to be similar and similar people, and they'd have similar concerns, I would say. Akaroa, I think, is a different case entirely. Cut it loose, I say.
Pauline?
Thank you. It's just your preference for more councillors than the recommendation of 16, and you've even suggested up to 24 of them.
Yes.
But that would add quite a considerable cost to ratepayers.
Yes.
So what's your view of that? Do you view that as acceptable and worth it, perhaps? Or
yes, I certainly do. The costs of extra councillors, I would say, would be well affordable in comparison to things not being done as well as they could be done. We did have a discussion about the relative costs of community boards and councillors and so on, and I'm not fully aware of the figures, but perhaps more councillors and less community boards would be a possibility.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No, that's good. Thank you very much. And again, please pass on our, regards to Peter and his wife and our best wishes.
Thank you.
Thank you.